Well, judging by the qualifying from yesterday, things really were quite hectic, topsy-turvy, as you mentioned, due to the weather conditions. And currently we've got Lewis Hamilton, who's obviously the most favourite to win in Great Britain, being his home circuit, and he's starting in a lousy 6th position. I say lousy because things just did not pan out for him. Initially he had pole position up until the dying minutes of the qualifying session, but the track actually improved because it was wet and very tricky and slippery in certain sections. And in that spate, all the other drivers actually managed to overtake him and beat his time, and hence he was bumped down to 6th position. So judging just by that and the fact that he didn't actually get the pole position he was so looking forward to, he'll definitely be driving in a very spirited and very driven kind of state of mind.
Big gap that we've grown accustomed to talking about, that Mercedes and the rest gap. Do you think it's closing now?
I think certain teams have really improved in terms of pace-wise, but we've only seen the guys who are actually powered by the Mercedes, like the Williams teams. They seem to have stepped up and gone forward. The Red Bulls, certainly the Renault-powered engined teams are still suffering in terms of the straight-line speed, and it just shows. You look at the likes of Red Bull, they're struggling for pace. Jenson Button has never finished on the podium in the circuit. It's his home Grand Prix, and he certainly in the past has had probably the best machinery in terms of McLaren, where they could have won the race, but they never did. So he's also equally hungry for victory. But I think it's going to be quite interesting to see as to how the likes of Lewis Hamilton makes it up the grid. But more particularly the Williams and the Ferraris, who are way down in I think it's 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th on the grid. Something really unfamiliar, but we should see a brilliant drive from them coming through the field. I think sometimes when you have two teammates who are extremely competitive and good at what they do, and with the perfect package, there's bound to be some sort of friction of sorts. I mean, you look at the Senna as well as Prost era. You look at when Lewis Hamilton was with Jenson Button as well as Alonso, Those guys, they couldn't get along, and in this particular relationship, it's a little bit tricky. You've got Nico Rosberg, who's really good at what he does, and it seems as if he's very unfazed by all the theatrics that Lewis has been also doing, which is something also a bit different from Lewis.
Yes.
Why are we, going towards tactics of saying, oh, there's something in my eye in Monaco, to the way he's just behaving and, being very brash with Nico, especially after that little incident in qualifying as well in Monaco. So I think their rivalry, it might be their biggest own enemy as a team, and I hope it doesn't explode in a negative way. But we still have a long season to go, and we must not forget the very last race is a double points championship running. So whoever is in first in that race will certainly take the championship. And Lewis, at this current state, he's very far back, and he really needs to close up the gap if he wants to really challenge Nico Rosberg going for the championship. Right. But as to who's going to win it eventually, I can't tell you. But all I can say is really, really exciting. It's building up to be something exciting.
You saw that question coming, didn't you? I want to thank you very much, Gugu, for coming through. I do believe that the Grand Prix starts at 2 p.m. our time.
Yes, the Grand Prix starts at 2 p.m. our time, and I think it will run for about an hour. The drivers have about 309 kilometers to really cover. And I must say, if you are home and you're about to have lunch, but get ready for some action because it's going to be thrilling.